Welcome back, episode 2 of Half and Half podcast. What's going on? How's your week been?
Actually, pretty good. Working a lot on the guitars, at least trying to.
We made some great headway we learned a lot on Sunday on the situation that we had with one of them.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, where we actually were all in the same room together.
Yeah.
That was fun.
For the first time in a long time.
Yeah, we, what was it? The neck.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand. If you're not a guitar builder or a guitar... I mean, I played guitar for 30 freaking years.
Yeah.
And I never knew...
I know.
all the struggles that you have to go through with a neck. So
I know. I have to fix all your crap.
Yeah, that's always been the thing, right? It was always like... I'm the type of person, you give me a piece of wood that has strings on it, I'll make it sound good.
Right.
Like, not to toot my own horn or anything, but like, to me, it's not difficult to make a guitar sound good.
Right.
But every time you would look at my guitar, it was always like, dude, have you looked at your neck?
Yeah, did you put this thing in boiling water?
Yeah, like, what the hell? And I'm like, what, man? Like, and you look at me like I'm nuts. Like, how do you play this? I'm like, I don't know, man.
And to me, I love everything about guitars, right? Like, I love how they're made, the craftsmanship, and you know the way the neck is supposed to be. And you just kind of, but you have those beautiful big hands to work around shitty necks.
Well, my hands are big, but here's the funny thing is that, and I don't know if I've ever talked about it on the YouTube channel, but my pinkies, I have the smallest little pinkies ever.
But you know what, dude? God said, I'm going to make the perfect set of pinkies, and he gave them to you.
I should put a picture of my pinkies right now on the screen for the YouTube video, because not only are they small, they're crooked.
Yeah.
And they're a mismatch. One has 3 lines, one has only 2. It's really freaking weird.
Well, I just love the fact how you talk with your pinkies. When your hands go up, your little pinkies stand out of all the fingers.
I think that's why people think that I'm snobby, because when I'm out like having a beer or something, my pinky always goes up.
Yeah, it turns out you just can't help it.
Exactly. So real quick, just anybody listening and sees that there's no video, last podcast we filmed it. We actually filmed it with 3 camera angles, and then as I was editing, I took like 8 hours to edit that video. And then my computer completely crashed. Yeah. And when I got back into my computer, none of the edits were there anymore. And I was like, do I really want to spend another 8 hours editing Adrian's good-looking face? But I realized that I didn't want to do that. And so we went with the audio anyways.
And I'm okay with that. Yeah. To be honest, like, to me, podcasts, like, yeah, they're fun to watch, right? But when you're just watching 2 guys talk, you don't really pay attention to the video. I don't, anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I love my podcasts on Spotify because I love podcasts, right? Like when I'm working out or driving to work or whatever.
That's a good point, because even when I am listening to it on like something on YouTube, like I just put my phone down and I'm not even looking at them talk. Right. I mean, if it was you on there, I'd be looking at it all the time. But yeah. So with today, we're not even bothering filming it, and well, I have a photo shoot coming up, but that's and I needed all my batteries charged. But that's not the only reason. I just kind of felt like it's just so much easier to sit here in the room and talk.
It is. We've been talking for an hour and we didn't even press record.
I know. So the other thing too is that the podcast is actually supposed to go on all platforms, but for whatever reason, it's only on Anchor and then obviously on YouTube right now. There was some sort of error. I'm working with the people to figure out why it didn't go on all platforms, so be looking out for that.
I can't wait for it to be on Spotify, because I am a Spotify junkie. That's my church, man.
Dude, I barely started using Spotify 3 months or 4 months ago.
It drives me crazy when I used to send you songs and you'd be like, oh, send me the YouTube version. I'm like, dude, I just sent... Dang, man.
I don't know, man. I never cared for Spotify, and then especially I guess I hated the fact that they pay artists very little and they kind of take advantage. But then you have people like Joe Rogan that's getting $100 million contract.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just kind of always avoided it. I used to listen to Apple Music. Every time, like, see, I'm a visual person too. So whenever I hear music, it's even better if I get to see a music video to go along with it.
Oh yeah.
But
I mean, you hear something you really like, or if I hear something I really like, then I'll go look it up on YouTube, right, to see videos or what the band members look like, because I'm weird like that. But I just love how user friendly Spotify is. I don't know Apple Music or iTunes or none of that, right? I've never even tried. The only two that I really love are Pandora and Spotify. Mm-hmm. But I don't use Pandora at all anymore either. Spotify is all I use because, I mean, dude, if you want to listen to a band's entire catalog, it's right there.
Yeah.
You can make your own playlist. You can save that entire Like, I have one playlist that's every... anything the Deftones have done and Chino has done is all in one playlist.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. I'm still getting to
oh, dude, it's
learn
a godsend. It's amazing. It actually sucks because I'm still old school, and my wife gets mad about this, but I still buy CDs. But now I've resorted to not even opening them because I just listen to them on Spotify. But I need to know that I have the new Pumpkin CD, the new Deftones CD, right? They're still shrink wrapped and all, but
That's the weirdest thing. I don't. Do I even have a CD player? I don't think I do.
I don't think you do. No, you don't.
Yeah. So, I mean, you just...
When I was helping you move in, I saw, like, your CDs in some random pile, like they were just bastard children, and it broke my heart.
So, actually, when I think about my CDs, and as much as I despise CDs nowadays, I can't get rid of them. I don't know why. Like, I want to give them to you, but you never seem like you want to take them.
I do.
They're a mess.
I don't... Well, look... I'm going to hold on to them because one of these days you're going to tell me, thank you for holding on to them.
I don't know, man. I mean, I see right now, like, there's the big thing with vinyls, right? Like, everybody wants to collect vinyls, and it's making this weird comeback.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I even want to think of vinyls, like, that was even before my time, so...
Fun fact, I bought my first vinyl the other day.
Really?
Well, I have a small section of vinyls because remember a long time ago I was dabbling in DJing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I have random vinyls, but it's break beats and so nothing that's musical, right? But right now my all-time favorite band in the entire world is Spirit Box. They've been out since 2017. They had a small EP that you can't find anywhere. And since then, they just released singles here and there. Well, their first full-length album is coming out in August. And I said, oh, I'm buying both. I bought the CD and the vinyl because I love them that much.
So, okay, I have a vinyl, I'm not going to lie. I bought a Local Natives vinyl when I saw them at ACL. And but the only reason I did that is it was like to support the artist.
Right.
Like I bought a CD, I bought a vinyl. I got to meet them. I think it was them. Yeah, I met them. They signed it, whatever. I was total fanboy. But I was like, I'm never gonna do anything with this. I'm literally just buying it to support them because they're like one of my favorite bands. And even at that time, they were well known, but like, you just want to support what you love so they can keep doing it, And, but I don't understand the whole vinyl infatuation. Like, I know some people actually listen to them, right?
Dude, my kid is one of them. Both of them, as a matter of fact.
But why, though? Why?
I don't know. Well, he likes because they don't just come in like regular black vinyls anymore. There's like limited edition pink ones, and then there's a red one, a blue one, and a gray one, and he likes all that stuff. And he just likes the sound of the crinkling and the cracking.
Really?
Yeah, to him, it's just he's an old soul, man. To be honest with you.
Wow.
He loves 90s music
But when you hear that crack of like a vinyl, you want to hear like a 40s song come on.
Or some awesome rapper. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I kind of get the aspect of like the collectibles. Like, I'm a collector.
Yeah.
Like, it's been years since I've bought comic books. I mean, maybe a couple of years ago. When I was a kid, I always collected comic books and baseball cards and all that. And 98% of them are probably worthless, but I just can't let them go, and it's something. So I understand the collector aspect of it, but like going beyond, like in listening to it. I don't know, man. That
Oh, yeah.
like I don't know.
He'd prefer that over Spotify.
Like taking that out and like putting it into the player and putting the like that's a lot of time lost.
He loves it. He loves it. He loves it.
Really?
He gets mad at me. I'll pick up. Dad, don't touch it like that. Sorry.
Really?
He's got a vinyl carrot kit.
Does he flip it first? Like
no. Does it? Yeah, I know what you're talking about. No. Yeah, I have to buy him like special inserts because the inserts that vinyls come with can scratch your vinyls and like it's crazy. He's knee deep in the vinyl.
I have special inserts too, but they're in my feet because I have plantar fasciitis.
That's so ugly that you would say that. But yeah, it's I don't know, man. For me, it's I just have to own a piece of it. Does that make sense? And I don't do it as much as I used to, right? I'm selective. You know, the Deftones, Smashing Pumpkins, all my all-time favorites I buy.
Right.
Random stuff that I start to like here and there. Like right now, I'm on a huge binge of this band called Krungbin.
What?
Krungbin?
Spell that.
Hell no. KH. I don't even know.
Okay.
It's that band I showed you. They're a 3-piece from Texas, all instrumental. Girl bass player. The drummer was a church drummer. They're phenomenal.
Really?
They're phenomenal. Them and Spirit Box are like what I've been rotating lately.
Yeah, and Spirit Box I can't get into, but anyway. Except for that one song.
What? Which one?
Though I don't even remember what it's called. It's like kind of mellow and.
Oh, Constance.
Yeah, there you go.
That's because you haven't stopped and paid attention.
No, man, I've tried.
You haven't. You haven't tried with me. That's what we're gonna do one of these days. We're gonna sit in here, and I'm gonna play the entire catalog, and we're just gonna sit here. I'm gonna make you pay attention.
Yeah, okay. I don't know, man. She's a good singer. Like music, I don't know. Again, it's just going back to that new metal thing. It's very new metal.
That is so weird that you brought that up. That's what I wanted to talk about today, because right now you said that, oh, I hate vinyl and I hate CDs, and it's so weird how you and I have, like, not that I refuse to grow, but I just like what I like, and you like to kind of come up with the times, and it's like with new metal, right? So when you and I first met, not when we first met, when we first encountered one another, you were a big metalhead, Pantera, Manson, Fear Factor, whatever the hell they're called, all those bands, right? Metallica.
It's a TV show, Adrian.
Oh yeah. Oh, Fear Factory, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's how lost I am in that genre. I was big time into Morrissey, Smashing Pumpkins, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Like, I was a huge alternative kid. But when you and I finally met, our one common ground was the Deftones. Mm-hmm. And to this very day, you and I love them, like, more so than you do. Like, you like to,
Yeah, I like their first 3 albums, and that's about it. Okay, the last one was...
Those are fighting words, dude. That's it?
I mean, the last one was okay. Like, when I first heard it, I was really getting into it. I was like, man, but I think I was just, like, longing for something new. And then, like, I took a break and went back to it, and I was like, no, I don't like this anymore. Like, maybe 1 or 2 songs.
That is heartbreaking.
It's just... I don't know. Like, see, my introduction to the Deftones was in 1994. A friend of mine's sister lived in Boston, and for whatever reason, she was just at a random place, and the Deftones showed up and played, and she was like, oh my god. So she literally mailed a cassette, I believe. And then, yeah, and then I somehow, that person was like, I don't really care, you'll probably like it. And so I got the cassette and was like, oh my god, these guys are amazing. I went out and I bought Adrenaline. Literally like 2 weeks later, at the Attic at the time, I got to see them perform. There was literally like no more than 10 people watching the Deftones perform. It was amazing. It was just it was so eye-opening in terms, and the funny thing is too, is our old singer's band actually opened up for them that day. Yeah. But anyways, it was just like, wow, like, I always knew that I wanted my band to like have a certain presence, and I never really kind of knew what it looked like until I saw that, and not necessarily like how they like throw down on stage. It was just this like, you knew they were there for the music and just the music only, and it was like the audience didn't even matter, you know. It was, the performance was still 100%. It was just amazing, and then the music is great. What really, like, I guess sucked me in is that there's a lot of emotion and passion there, you know, which is something I think that you and I have always tried to get across. Like, to us, like, when we go on stage and perform, there's a lot of emotion put into that.
Oh,
like,
it's balls out.
Yeah,
it's balls out. Even now, to this very day.
Right.
It's to me, I don't want to go pay money to see a band stand around.
Exactly.
It's boring.
Right.
One, and to me, I'm such a feeler and emotional about music, especially music that we make. Like, it just brings it out of me.
Right.
And you know me, I jump around everywhere. I'm sore for 8 days after we play. Like, you have to.
Right.
You have to, and that's what music is lacking right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There is no stage presence at all. It's like not even like nobody even cares about performing anymore.
Exactly.
It's heartbreaking. That's why I going back to why I originally brought it up. I still love nu metal. You hate it. Like, you have this great ability to be like, screw everything I grew up with. I don't care. You know, I leave it all in the past. Me, it's like I still listen to Limp Bizkit. I still listen to, not so much. Korn was more your thing. For me, Korn, it was just the first 2 albums.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
And then after that, it was, you know what I mean?
First 3 for me.
But the Deftones have carried it forever. They can never do any wrong in my eyes.
But see, again, I feel like they lost. To me, I feel like 3 albums is where a lot of artists lose that emotion. They lose that passion and attachment, and then it just becomes like, oh, we got to do another album. All right, let's record it. Like, that hunger, especially when you hit a certain level of success, I feel like that hunger goes away.
I'll give you that. Some of their albums after White Pony, they were still great. I still love them, right? But compared to Adrenaline, Around the Fur, and White Pony, well, yeah, they don't touch it.
Right.
But enter Ni Hao Kai Lan or No Kai Yo, whatever. Oh, that's a cartoon.
Yeah.
I've never known how to. I always forget the name of that album. That album blew my mind.
Yeah.
And then Gore came out, blew my mind. Like, they brought it back, right? And the crappy part about it is they brought it back after Chi.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then even that, they're still floating around releasing that album, because there was still one album almost finished before Chi passed away.
Right.
And they don't want to release it.
Well, you know, I will say that at any moment, if Deftones ever come through to perform live, I will always go see them, because live performance wise, they still are top notch.
Yeah.
Especially Chino. He has that persona. He is who he is. Like, but anything beyond those first 3 albums that they play, I'm like, I don't know what this is.
See, and that's weird. That's what I'm trying to get at. You can separate yourself, and I can't, dude. Like, I don't know, man. It's so weird. Like, it goes back to the half and half thing, right? Like,
yeah,
there was a time where you fell off of metal entirely.
Right.
Anything with distortion, and I'm quoting you, anything with distortion, I can't stand.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here scratching my head like, what are you talking about?
Right.
What are you talking about? So you couldn't go back to listen to an old Poison the Well album, which is another favorite band of ours.
No. I actually did that the other day.
Well, I'm saying at the time.
Oh,
you
right,
were, like,
right.
knee deep in like weird indie music, right? Like,
yeah.
You turned me on to some stuff, but a lot of stuff I was like, oh no, man.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Well, it's just like the other day when we were working on the guitars, and I made my Google Mini play Frank Sinatra, and you're just like, what?
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I love Frank Sinatra,
right.
but just to,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just, I mean, if a Deftones album comes out, I will listen to it. I'll listen to it from beginning to end, and I'll sit there with headphones and I'll listen to everything, because I don't just listen to the music. I listen to the production. I want to hear all those little cool things that,
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's just, let me give you another example, like Glassjaw, for example.
Mm-hmm.
When you listen to that first album, you can tell that they were hungry, that they were ambitious. That
Which first album were we talking about, though? Because Kiss Kiss Bang Bang was technically their...
Okay, well, the first album that I heard, which was Everything But Silence, right? Is that what it's called?
Everything You Need to Enjoy Silence.
Oh, something like that, yeah. I don't even know what it's called. But anyhow, like, again, one of the things that drew me into that album was, like, you can just hear that raw emotion. It wasn't overproduced. It could have probably been produced way better, but when you listen to Daryl Palumbo's like vocals, and I think I told you this last week, is that I'm not a lyric person. I just listen. I don't listen to what they're saying. Yeah. But then I remember like 6 months, a year later, I went back and I read the lyrics along with the album, and I was like, oh my god, it's like hearing the album all over again, because I didn't realize how great his lyrics were too.
See, and I'm opposite. I have to know what the lyrics are. I love the lyrics. You know what's so funny about that album? Every time I listen to that album, I remember the first time you and I heard it. We were in the car with Rudy, an old friend of ours.
Oh, yeah.
He's the one who showed us, and he's playing it, and we heard a few 30, 40 seconds of a song, and you and I just looked at each other. And almost simultaneously, we're like, who is this? And he was like, oh, this is Glassjaw. And dude, then on.
Yeah. Speaking of Rudy, I think I'm going to have to tag him in this episode, because I think he's going to appreciate the vinyl talk, because he's one of the people that I know actually, like, he's hardcore about vinyls.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rudy was actually was our first singer.
Yeah, he did a few songs for us, yeah.
Yeah.
I've always loved that guy's voice.
Yeah.
Always.
You were telling me that the other day.
Always, yeah. Every time we talk about, throughout the years being in off and on bands, or you and I trying to figure out what we're going to do post Ashling and whatnot, I always tell you, what about Rudy?
Yeah.
What about Rudy? Why not Rudy? Because I've always loved his voice. I loved what he did on that one song for us.
And it's funny because he's been in a band for quite a long time now.
And they're an instrumental band.
Yeah,
right?
They're really good, and they're straight instrumental.
Yeah, I heard them. And it's like they're an amazing band, but I can only imagine what they'd sound like if he was singing.
Yeah, and honestly, the song that we did with him, I don't know where it is. I don't even remember what it sounded. I don't even remember anything about that song. It was so long ago.
Well, we went on to use that song with the singer we had for Ashling, Miguel.
Mm-hmm.
He titled that song "Carry On."
And I don't even know what that one. I don't even remember.
Oh my god!
Do you have that version?
Do you remember your name? You don't remember anything.
I just have it.
No,
that's the thing
dude,
too.
Those are the two songs, Rudy's version and Miguel's version, that just fell out, lost in space, or they're on that one random computer that you have.
Oh, wow.
That you had since the 90s or something.
Well, see,
like that.
So it's like I want people to know that it's not just the Deftones. It's even with my own bands that I just forget.
Yeah,
our own music,
dude. The other day I almost hit you. If we were not texting and you were in front of me, you would have got nut checked for sure.
Why?
When you were like, well, Eric is earlier than you, and he says 7:30, and I'm thinking, every time we try to get together on a Saturday, I say, batch, we got to do it. Let's do 7. The earlier we do it, the more time. No, let's do 8. This motherfucker right here, dude. What?
And it's funny because I was actually going to start the podcast today. So, like, you said 8 o'clock, but you showed up at 8:30, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, sure did.
Just to spite me.
You tried doing nights.
Oh man, yeah.
Well, going back to the Chino thing, it's the funny thing about it is my wife, she was a Deftones fan before me, way before me. That was one of her favorite bands, and she, like you, can't get past Chino. To her, Chino does the same thing over every album, but I don't agree. Like I hear the evolving, I hear the evolution every album from him, like Gore. And no Niho Kailan or whatever the hell that up. Dude, you know what? I'm gonna look that up right now. But like he really tapped into like his Simon Le Bon from Duran Duran, like Morrissey thing. Like to me, he really brought his 80s influences into those 2 albums.
Right, and I agree. I do see his evolving over the years. You can tell that he is really, like, especially in this last album. That was, I think, what I told you, is I felt like he was really experimenting with his voice a lot.
Koi no Yokan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But going back to what I was saying, that's the problem, though, is that now it's like there's singers like, let me give you an example, Mike Patton, who everybody loves. Mike Patton, whatever. He's a great freaking singer. Like, he can do any style.
Yeah.
But one thing about Mike Patton is I've never felt that there was really an emotion attached to what he was doing.
Right.
To me, it was like, this is what I'm capable of doing. You know, that's it. So there's always been consistency there. But when I think of a singer like Chino, where like there was just that raw, passionate emotion there, that's what I feel is missing from the new stuff. Now he's doing experimental stuff with his voice. He's doing really cool things, but that emotion, that passion is not there anymore.
Yeah.
And that was one of the biggest draws to me from the very beginning. And so since that aspect is missing, I feel like it's lost to me.
But you know what I love about the Deftones? Because somebody lacks in every album, right? There was a big... I saw a few interviews on... I think it was Gore, right? That Steph was not fully into it because he didn't like the direction it was going, this, that, and the other. They talked him into it. But you can always see where someone's lacking in that band. Well, for one, Abe never lacks. He's one of my all-time favorite drummers.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
The other person will pick it up, right? So it's like in this album, the latest album, yeah, Chino kind of lacks, but the riffs are awesome on this album.
Yeah.
I'm a riff guy, right? I like riffs. You and I have this argument all the time when you want to just jun, 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 and I'm like, no, man, like do a single string riff thing, which is also your forte. Like, it's the reason I fell in love with you. Your riffing is amazing. That's why when we argue about it, maybe now I figured out the words, is I love your riffs. I don't want to settle for jun, jun, jun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Keep the riff going. But yeah, so this album, like where Chino's lacking, like I love the riffs.
Speaking of, is it Stephen Carpenter? Stephen Carpenter?
Stephen, I think.
Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I should have his freaking job. That damn flat earth, whatever. He's bringing a lot of really negative attention to the band, so I think they should hire me instead.
And then
you should be the bass player. I've always thought, like, dude, we would fit into that band perfectly. But yeah, man. I mean, going back to like what you were saying, beyond the Deftones, like new metal in general. I got into it. There must be some crazy stuff going down because those sirens have been going on for like 5 minutes. I mean, I got into new metal in general during the time that it was a big thing. Yeah. Korn. I mean, the first Limp Bizkit album, I liked it.
You loved it. Quit playing.
Oh yeah, of course.
We heard it all the time.
Yeah, but like I think that's part of why I loved it, was because, I mean, we were on the road and we would just be listening to that stuff, and like now there's a lot of albums that I listen to, and it's not even like, if I were to go back and listen to Limp Bizkit, it's not because like, oh my god, this is amazing musically. It was because it brings back that nostalgia of when we would go on tour and we would just like sit there and listen to that together, and, yeah. But to me, I felt like the genre itself, like new metal, it was there, and then it was like, okay, like everybody's sounding the same now, let's move on from this.
Yeah. And I don't mean that I forever love new metal in the sense that because it's still around, believe it or not. There's still bands that are putting out new metal music.
Mind-boggling.
But I don't love all the new bands, right? I tried and true to who I love, Lost Prophets, Deftones.
Oh my god,
dude, Lost Prophets are amazing. But you know what sucks is my wife loves them too. Their first album was so amazing, but then ever since what happened to the singer, like morally, I can't listen to them. And her and I struggle. We talk about it all the time. That's right. Morally, we can't. We are not going to support that band.
Yeah.
But then like their song were to come on, and we're like, you can change it if you want. Like, I don't know.
See, and I never got into, like, those were one of the bands that came in late, right?
Yeah, they're like 2001.
And that's when I was already kind of like over it. Yeah.
That's actually when you started listening to, because you got me into Poison the Well. So you started pushing a little more of the heavier stuff.
Yeah, it was funny. Like, I've always gone in waves. Like, let me give you an example. Back in the early 90s, I was a Pantera kid. I was all about Pantera, but at that same time, Nirvana came out, and I hated Nirvana with a passion.
Oh, Justin's going to be mad at you.
I know. But now, he's going to love me. Over the last maybe 3 years or so, I hear Nirvana, and I'm like, man, Like I really have a newfound appreciation for Nirvana, a band that I despised because at the time it was like about technical playing.
Right.
It was about like, dude, like Dimebag Darrell would like play these riffs. It was just like, and then all of a sudden you had like this guy coming out with like, it was like, really, dude? Like I could have created that when I was 9 years old. You know what I mean? Like, so to me it was more of the technical aspect, but now listening to them, I'm like, this is some damn good songwriting. And in addition to that, going back to the passion thing, when you hear Kurt Cobain sing, whether it was drug induced or not, there's freaking like emotion in what he's singing.
I'll give you that.
So when I hear Nirvana now, I actually enjoy it. I actually like Nirvana now. You'll never see me wearing a t-shirt, but
no. Yeah, I agree with you. I definitely appreciate him more now. And actually, my kid brought it back. I tell you, he's an old soul, man. He listens to Nirvana, Smashing Pumpkins. Like, he loves 90s grunge, whatever, right? And Nirvana's one of his favorite bands. Wow. So now that he listens to him a lot, I always bust his chops about it. I always tell him, oh, Nirvana sucks. And I thought I raised you to like good music, stuff like that. But deep inside, I'm like, yeah, man, I can really tell why at that time. Right? Like, I can hear the musicianship more. Right. Now, I don't know if it's because I'm older. I don't know if it's because I appreciate music more. Because back then, when they came out, I, like you, I was knee-deep into the Smashing Pumpkins. I heard the Pumpkins, their first album, Gish, which came out before Nirvana did. Right. And to me, it was beautiful. It was technical, and they were pretty, and you know what I mean? So when Nirvana came out, I liked them. But to be honest, I never went past Nevermind. I bought Nevermind, but I didn't get... What's it called? Incesticide?
I couldn't name an album if my life depended on it.
I didn't get any. I liked the singles or whatever, but I was never, oh, Nirvana's amazing. You know what I mean? For the same reasons, They came out and they're making all this noise, and I'm like, shoot, don't ever put them in the same category as Smashing Pumpkins, which they always did. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I always remember my favorite joke that Justin used to get really upset with.
What?
The best thing that ever happened. The best thing about Nirvana is the Foo Fighters.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's it. You're going to make them quit all of our fun projects.
Yeah.
Thanks, Paul.
I love you, Justin. So last time we had our podcast, we had agreed that we would do a 30-minute limit.
Yeah.
Just because 55 was a lot. I feel like we just barely got started.
We did. There's so much more to talk about, especially when it comes to music,
Yeah, I mean, we could sit here all day.
Wait, real quick before we go, going back to the new metal thing. The one band that is recent, they don't sound anything like new metal, right? They're far from that genre. But Fever 333, I almost cried when I heard that.
Okay, we got a couple more minutes.
Yeah, I knew it.
Eric Imprada is my favorite drummer of all time, second to Eric Prieto.
Agreed.
Our drummer. That first album, again, it has that emotion, right? And their live performance, I mean, you want to talk about a passionate live performance, it does not get any better than that. But I can't stand his singing voice.
That's so weird that you say that. Because before Fever, he was in a band called Let Live, and I love them. I love that band because of his singing and his screaming. So when you told me that, I'm like, dude, what are you talking about?
It's because...
Have you ever heard Let Live? His original band?
I probably should.
Oh, dude. That's crazy.
But again, it goes back to, like... I'm sorry, and I know a lot of people are going to take offense to this or get upset, but I have to say it. I have always despised Linkin Park. And part of why I despised it is I just... First of all, again, it was new metal. It came on way late, but somehow people loved it. I hated his voice. Yeah, I mean, and when I listened to Fever 333, his voice is reminiscent. Matter of fact, they even did a Linkin Park cover, probably because they recognized that his voice was similar. And I don't like that, his singing voice,
dude,
man.
One, I love Linkin Park. You're high.
I know.
Two, dude, you have to listen to Let Live. You have to. It's incredible.
That'll be my homework.
You might like his voice because of Let Live. I mean, what he does in Fever is different, right?
Right.
It's a lot more rappy, a lot more raspy. But in Let Live, dude, it's crazy.
Wow.
I love that band. Yeah. That's why when you showed me who they were, or did we find them at the same time?
I don't even know. I don't even know how I came across them. I think you showed them.
I think you're right.
I don't know.
Just to backtrack, Paul and I have this thing where we're always, as soon as I find something, I send it to him. As soon as he finds something, he sends it to me.
What in the hell? Get downstairs. My dogs just ran in, and they're not even supposed to be upstairs. Those little shit.
The funny thing is, you always get mad at me because you're like, dude, check out this band. And I'm like, dude, where have you been? I heard them 6 months ago.
I know. That's...
Dude, going back to Spotify, that's what I love about Spotify. You go to a band's page, and at the bottom, well, you've seen it now, they have fans also like. So it'll be bands that are within that same category. And that's what I do for hours. If I'm listening to whatever band, I listen to every fans will also like, just to discover that next best thing. And when I find the band that I like, I listen to their request. That's how I find bands. That's what I do all day long. Just listen to music and find.
I need to get more familiar with Spotify.
But anyway, when we had first heard of Fever, I don't care if I hate the band, if I love the band. I love band stories. I always tell my kid this. I will watch documentaries on any band because I just want to hear their story. Like, I love stories.
Right.
So when I found out about the Fever and I went in and I heard they were a super group, dude, I was already in. Let Live. Eric was from what was it called? Night Verses.
Yeah.
And their guitar players from The Chariot. All three bands I love. I was already in.
Yeah, and I've heard Night Verses, but never really gave them too much.
Dude,
attention.
The Chariot is awesome. The lead singer is actually in a new band called 68. I've shown you them before. And that band is incredible. It's a two-piece, him and a drummer. Yes, I'm starting to get very offended now that we're talking about this. The Fever, no bass player. Hear yourself. 68, no bass player. Stop it. What's going on here?
I know, that is kind of weird.
I would kill to play bass for the Fever.
Royal Blood too, right?
Yeah, but he is a bass player.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
They have no guitar player.
Yeah, that is really weird.
Which makes more sense.
Yeah.
You can do without a guitar player.
All right. We're at 37 minutes.
Wrapping it up.
All right. Thank everybody for listening. Hopefully we'll have another episode coming up soon, but this is officially 2 in the books. It should be available everywhere. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel because we're going to always post them here anyways. So, yeah.
Yeah, give us a follow on Spotify, Anchor, everything that's there. Leave us comments. Again, we're open, right? We want to know. We want critiques.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're idiots. We're great. Let us know.
If you're interested on coming on also, I know Eric
that's
actually was like,
say.
I want to be on the next
Yeah,
episode.
we're going to start having guests very soon. Our other business partner, good friend of ours, well, one of my best friends, happens to be your brother. He's going to be on. Yeah, let us know if you want to be on. We'll definitely entertain it.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be about music.
So. No, absolutely not. This is we're just gonna press record and whatever falls out, falls out.
All right, Batch. Well, let's get to making some guitar stuff.
You always gotta ruin it with work.
All right, thank you guys for watching or listening. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
All right.
Listen.
Bye.
Bye.